It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up, Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I hope that you are having a fantastic Friday. And the only reason that I can say that is because I'm flying solo today. I am your host, Davriel Gardner, wishing a happy Friday to you. And we are wishing a get well soon Friday to my co-host, Mark, who's not able to join us today. He's under the weather with, I think, whatever it is that's going around. And so this is your cautionary tale to be very careful about whatever may be going around. We know that COVID is apparently going around, so you definitely want to protect yourself this week, and we definitely want to pray for Mark and hope that he can join us again soon. I always have a little extra time when Mark isn't here with me, because naturally we just kind of take up space with our catch-ups, our live catch-ups. But I was thinking about what I would say, and we are coming to, I want to say the middle of January, so not the end of the month yet, but I think many of us are still kind of getting over the holidays, trying to get back in the work frame of mind, get back in the goal setting and goal achieving frame of mind. And I read a quote from Oprah, and it said, "A new year is a great chance for a new start, and it's a chance to get it right." But I was thinking, what if we applied that to every month of the year? So instead of waiting until next year, like if you didn't get it in January, that's okay. February is coming. And if you didn't get it in February, March is also available. So definitely looking at smaller periods of time as a chance to start over. That's your Friday motivation from me. We've got a great show in store for you today. We're going to be hearing about the Great Exuma Classic, which is taking place this weekend. We'll also be hearing about the Fun Run Walk, which aims to help the Bahamas Feeding Network. The Bahamas Trade Commission is here to talk about their series discussing the national trade policy. And Bishop Delton Fernander is here to discuss the surge in violent crime and the Prime Minister's call for a National Day of Prayer. TCL invites you to attend the 32nd Annual Bahamas Business Outlook, which is scheduled for Thursday, January 25th. Check out our website, tclevents.com, for more information and to register for the conference. But for now, we'll check on weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Davriel. Good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather at sunrise, we do have that weak front boundary just to the north of Grand Bahama and Abaco, but it's quasi-stationary moving north and south, so you have some cloudiness, particularly with the extreme northwest Bahamas, with some showers. With the remaining islands, we're going to look at partly sunny, a bit breezy and warm conditions for today. So we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for extreme northwest Bahamas with a few showers, partly sunny on remaining islands, a bit breezy, still on the warm side. Your high temperature today reaching 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, we can expect a few clouds around, still on the mild side, your low temperature going down to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados, 87 and 75. In Jamaica, 1976. In Trinidad, 1973. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 83 and 72. Across North America, Atlanta, 58 and 30. In Boston, 44 and 35. In Miami, 80 and 74. Dallas, Texas, 46 and 31. And Toronto, Canada, 35 and 32. As we weekend, that weak front boundary should fizzle out. High pressure will be the dominant feature for a couple of days, and then that will shift towards the east and make for another cold front to move in sometime on Sunday. That will cause increasing cloudiness, some showers, and possible thunderstorm, particularly with the extreme north Bahamas on Sunday. For the most part, though, the weekend on the warm side, the temperature daytime will be in the low 80s, the nighttime up in the lower 70s, but after that front passes, we're still looking at low 80s at daytime, but the upper 60s at nighttime. That but you're up. When you first look at the weather at sunrise, I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Davriel.
Thanks, Godfrey. The Bahamas Great Exuma Classic at Sandals Emerald Bay will serve as the season opening event for the 7th year in a row for the Korn Ferry Tour. With me now to tell us more are Glenn Pratt, President of the Bahamas Professional Golfers Association, and Vernon Lockhart, Professional Golfer. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Well, it's good to be here.
Now, I know I want to be in Exuma this week.
Exuma is always the place to be. This makes it a special weekend, but it's always the place to be. Exuma is a beautiful place.
I love it. So, in what ways does the Bahamas Golfers Association collaborate with the Korn Ferry Tour?
Well, the Bahamas Professional Golfers Association, we've been given an opportunity through the sponsorship of the Ministry of Tourism. They've been provided this opportunity for us to qualify 2 Bahamian golf pros to participate in the event, which is something that is a life-changing opportunity. This year we have a national Bahamas professional golf champion, Devon Robinson, representing us. He won both spots for the Korn Ferry Tour, Exuma and Abaco. So he'll be representing us this week. And he's on the verge of making a major breakthrough for the Bahamas in professional golf, and so we're happy to have him represent us at this time.
I'm sure, with his, I can say success to an extent, and just the tour itself happening within the Bahamas or us being integrated into it. What impact has that had on the local golfing community? Well,
it's my understanding that it was the brainchild of Honorable Obi Wilscombe, who just passed last year, unfortunately, God rest his soul, to bring more visibility and business to the family islands, it being Exuma and Abaco. And from all understanding, it's created a lot of new business as a result of just not new business, but a lot of new exposure to Exuma and Abaco. So we want to, pay tribute to the fact that the Honorable Obi Wilscombe was the person who initiated this golf event.
And I guess to that end, and I'll open that up to both of you. What do events like these mean for our community? Why are they so important?
Well, these types of events have an opportunity to showcase not only the resort, but the Bahamas in general, and really show the world that we have first-class facilities, we have first-class hotels, casinos, golf courses, and it really adds to the overall tourism product.
Speaking of first-class golf facilities, sometimes people come to the Bahamas and they anticipate that everything will be perfect and it will be a precise 75 degrees, no higher, no lower, no rain, nothing like that. Talk about some of the challenges that come from being a professional golfer in a tropical climate.
Well, depending on the time of the year, a lot of people will complain that it's too hot. Having been in the business, you get to experience and listen to all types of comments from people who come to our shores. One of the questions we always get is it going to rain today? Well, you don't know. But what you try to do is make them feel as comfortable as possible and ensure them that not to worry about the rain. Just try to enjoy the ambience of the golf course and the clubhouse and the people around them.
So we know it's happening this weekend, but when exactly does the Great Exuma Classic begin? What does the schedule look like?
Well, it begins on Saturday. Tomorrow they have which is a practice round for the professional golfers, but they have a pro-am during the practice round, which is a scramble format pro-am, where a pro gets to play with two amateurs. Well, two amateurs get to play with the pro. And but the main event starts on Sunday, and that goes through until I think it goes through until Thursday, Wednesday.
It's Sunday through Wednesday, 72 holes.
And is this open to the public in terms of spectating?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you have quite a few Bahamians that's working there, that's volunteers, paid volunteers, who are learning a lot about developing and putting on golf events in the Bahamas. So there's a great learning opportunity for Bahamians. Being 7 years there, knowing how smart of people we are, we probably can put these on anywhere, anytime in our sleep now, because we're, once we see something once, that's basically it. So it has been a learning experience, and we probably can learn from the ones who've been around it for 7 years and how we can improve on it. But it's not the first. We've always had them. Sir Clement Maynard initiated a lot of golf tournaments back in the 70s, and Vernon Lockhart was always one of our stars. He represented us well, as Devon Robinson is doing now. So Devon Robinson will be the younger version of Vernon Lockhart. And we're talking about the weather and all this stuff that came, and I just want to pay tribute to Devon Robinson for dominating in a thunderstorm, because we played 4 days of thunderstorm golf.
Wow.
During our championship, and he came out on top. Just showed his expertise and his calm and poise and everything. And we really expected him to do well these next two events.
And so we know that you have a full roster. It's not just the event that's happening this weekend. What's next for you?
Well, for us, as an organization, our focus is more to look back and pay tribute to the folks who really laid the foundation for golf in this country. Because like most of them are like forgotten. People like Freddie Higgs, Beryl Higgs, and Dr. Vanderpool, and Dr. Aeneas, and Caleb Hepburn. I mean, there's just so many names, and Roy Bowe, who really started professional golf in the Bahamas, Jim Duncombe, Charlie Sanders. A lot of people have moved on, but it's like we have another generation that don't even know they existed. So our job as folks who started golf, started in junior golf from 1972, is to make sure that those folks who created the avenue for us to be who we are today, that they're not forgotten. And so our ultimate goal is to establish a Golfers Hall of Fame in the name of Roy Bowe.
That is excellent, and that sounds so exciting. When you were talking, I'm like, maybe I could be a paid volunteer this week, because that's the only kind of volunteer I want to be, a paid volunteer. But that sounds like a great opportunity to learn. Yeah.
Well, the Bahamas Professional Golfers Association is on a path right now to regain our influence in golf, and that's at golf courses and stuff. Because in the past, what we did is we always gave free golf clinics, not just to junior golfers, but just people in general, to introduce them to the game. But in most cases, we're not employed at most of the golf courses now. So we're kind of rebuilding now and getting great assistance from the government in that avenue. The government has definitely been open to a lot of suggestions. Met with the Minister of Sports just a couple of days ago, and I was extremely impressed with him. And it's just a matter of educating him on the pros and cons of the game, and I feel real good about the future. I feel real good about it. So same thing with the Ministry of Tourism and everybody. Everybody has been open for change and development, so it looks good.
That's excellent. Good things happen when people work together. And I'm so thankful that you have good things happening this weekend. I just want to say thank you for joining us to tell us all about it.
And thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Great.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com. Meet Leno, your bridge to the future. Wealth planning, investments, corporate services, trust services, pension administration, fund administration, outsourced accounting, and payroll. When you think of financial solutions, think of Leno. Local or international, company or individual, Leno can help. Our team of skilled professionals has the experience and expertise needed for you to strive. Your goals are our goals and our priority. Leno will guide you to the right financial solution with the knowledge, resources, and support you need. Give us a call at 242-396-3225 or email us at info@lenobahamas.com to get started. Visit our website, www.lenobahamas.com, for more information today. Leno, your bridge to the future.
African Things is your one-stop shop for everything African. Make a bold fashion statement with vibrant colors and intricate patterns inspired by the beauty of Africa. Find trendy contemporary looks for every occasion and enjoy custom tailoring. Shop jewelry, purses, art, cosmetics, and much more. African Things is located in the Dugard Plaza, Palmdale, next to McDonald's. Open Tuesday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come get your African Things.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Join us for the Bahamas Business Outlook Conference, Thursday, January 25th, 8:45 a.m. at the Bahamar Convention Center. We're bringing the business community together under the theme, Future Bahamas, branding the national identity and planning for success. The day includes a business expo, lunch, an art tour, keynote address by Prime Minister Davis, exciting panels, and so much more. Begin your year on a high note. Get your tickets today at tclevents.com.
Welcome back. Quality Care Pharmacy is hosting a fun run walk and health fair to raise funds for the Bahamas Feeding Network amid a 40% drop in donations. To tell us more, here are Phillip Gray, CEO of Quality Care Pharmacy, Nicolette Fountain Archer, Executive Director at the Bahamas Feeding Network, and Archdeacon James Palacious, former Executive Director at the Bahamas Feeding Network. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Gray. What inspired Quality Care Pharmacy to organize this fun run walk to support the Bahamas Feeding Network?
So we've just covered our first anniversary as in existence as an entity. The Bahamian public has been very good to us, and so we thought that it was the perfect opportunity for our philanthropic arm to reach out to an entity that really does excellent, tremendous work, significant work across the length and breadth of country, and certainly an excellent opportunity for us to pour into their service, which is so needed at this time. As you've indicated, the donations are down a bit across the board for all charitable organizations, and such a one that's worthy like this obviously needs the support of corporate Bahamas and us as individuals.
That is very impressive in your, I'm presuming, second year of business to pursue such a huge philanthropic effort.
Well, yeah, but we see the need and we see the opportunity. The initiative is one where we believe that the populace can garner and gather together easily. Banks, insurance companies, wholesalers, retailers, sororities, fraternities, you name it. So all service groups, if we all collectively get together and pour into this initiative, it's an easy task.
All that. To you, Mrs. Archer, I want to ask, 40% drop in donations, that's not an easy presidency or executive directorship to walk into. You know, how has it been navigating those challenges, and how important has it been for corporate sponsors to come alongside you?
Thank you. So when I started about 16 months ago, we were at the point where we have 100 plus partners that we service or give food items to every month. When I first started, we were giving all of those partners food items every month, okay? A few months into my time there, we had to half it. So we were alternating the partners. Then halfway through the year, looked at the budget again, and it had to cut again. So what happened then was that we had to cut down on what we were putting in the parcels. And it's hard, and you know, one of our partners said to me at the end of the year, you know, she said, Ms. Archer, I hope we could get a little more from you. And when you hear that, you feel that, you know. So we knew that we needed to do some serious fundraising and solicitation this year. So when Phillip approached me at the end of the year last year with this idea, I was so very pleased with him. It's good to have friends in good places.
Yes.
And we have friends out there in corporate Bahamas. We have individual friends out there. So we need all of them to come in and join us with this or some other initiative. If you can't run, if you can't donate to that, maybe you can give something in kind, something that you have that you can share with us, a service, a product, prizes, airtime.
The thing is, if you can't run or you can't walk, you can have fun. So it's a fun run walk. So one of those.
There you go. And it is an all day. It is an all day health fair. So you could come out there and just maybe bring some canned goods or a small donation. The $20 registration will go a long way in feeding a family for about 3 to 5 days with what the discounts we're able to get from our sponsors.
And Father Palacious, speaking to your time, you know, leading the Bahamas Feeding Network, talk about the importance of those resources on a practical level, where they go every day, and maybe to the layperson who's listening about why they should donate.
Well, the reality is there's nothing more precious to the body and vital to the body, apart from breath itself, than food. Everybody needs it. And those of us who have the option on what to eat, please know you're not in the minority, but you're in the dwindling group, because many more people now are hurting than before. Probably not compared to when we were in the midst of COVID, but the reality is many people are coming out of that, and while more people are working, there are still many people who have to play catch up on bills, helping other people, etc. And we just want to thank Quality Care, as well as urge the public, and this is what is important. And I often say on these occasions, we must stop wasting food.
Yeah.
Okay? So no use you raise a bunch of money and still you're wasting it. We do not waste it for sure, but in so many homes, we put too much food on the table, we allow our children to put things in the fridge, you know they ain't coming back for it. I urge you. And I like the model that is being adopted here. You might not have the money, for example, to make a donation to a corporate or social entity like Bahamas Feeding Network, or anybody else for that matter, but you have a birthday. If you invite some of your friends around to your house for a meal or something, now if you can't cook, don't cook. But you know, you can buy some stuff, right? And say, look here, I'm having something for the Red Cross, because they're down 60% by their own admission. So if you say, come by my house, man, everybody throw in $50, and we're going to give that money to the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, Hands for Hunger, Bahamas Feeding Network. It's amazing, because there are many of us who really don't need another belt, land or otherwise, right? Or another push. Come on, let's face it now.
Amen.
Get real.
Go ahead.
Okay? But if you could say, look here, I want to celebrate my birthday by doing this for somebody for whom this is a terrible day. We want to cheer up some people.
That is Just excellent. And speaking of our practical solutions, because I don't want to miss it, let's talk about the timing, location. You spoke to the $20 registration fee. What are the key things that folks need to know about the actual Fun Run Walk?
Okay, so first of all, it's a fun run walk and a health fair where you get an opportunity to get back, you get screening, there's going to be lectures, demonstrations throughout the day. So there's an opportunity for corporate Bahamas, for individuals. We wanted to make this a healthy rivalry between the banks, between the insurance companies, between the sororities, between the churches, and we want them to do several things. One, we want them to garner as many persons to participate in the Fun Run Walk. Two, we want them to collect monetarily to donate to the Bahamas Feeding Network. And then we also want them to collect non-perishable goods that they will bring at the site on that particular day. And in those rivalries, we're going to be giving prizes and surprises for the participation. We begin on Saturday, February 3rd at 6 a.m. sharp with stretches, and then we are en route for the walk, after which we begin the fair and the public screening in various ways.
And how do folks register?
So there's going to be online registration as well as hard copy registration. It'll be connected to our Facebook page as well as the Bahamas Feeding Network. You can also call into the entities, give us your information, and we'll certainly assist you with getting registered and proceeding to be a part of. If you couldn't do it before the date, you're welcome to just come and register on the day of the event as well.
Well, that caters to our fine last-minute tendencies as being. So Archer, just remind everyone, if they do want to donate directly to the Bahamas Feeding Network, separate from the actual event, or if they want to volunteer or provide tangible assistance, how can they do that?
Thank you so much. So we have a website, bahamasfeedingnetwork.org, and there is a link right there that says donate, or you can come into us at our office, number 42 Fox Hill Road, 3 doors below the police station, and we will gladly take anything you want to give us.
It's wonderful. It has been a pleasure to be in such excellent company early in the morning. So I just want to say thank you all for joining us.
And see you there.
Yes, indeed.
You already said it, so you better be there. Be there with your tennis and your tanks.
Yes, challenging Father Palacious that I can beat him in the walk.
All right, and I know you all want to see that.
Yeah. We might have to bring a camera out for that one. So you definitely want to stay tuned. And speaking of stay tuned to Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem, just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Alive Business SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Alive Business at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. I am your host, Davriel Gardner, hoping that you are having a happy Friday. It has been a happy Friday here On Bahamas at Sunrise, we've been talking about some very exciting things. We've been talking about the Bahamas. I want to say Great Exuma Classic, which is happening this weekend in Great Exuma. Our professional golfers are going to be getting together with professional golfers from around the world for a very exciting competition. We were able to speak with the Bahamas Feeding Network and Quality Care Pharmacy about their upcoming fun run walk and all of the exciting things that you can look forward to. So it's definitely an active or reminding us to get active kind of morning, and active in a literal sense in terms of physically active, but figuratively by being active in our communities and offering that support to those people who need it most severely. We've got more great stuff to come in our second half. We'll be starting a series with the Bahamas Trade Commission discussing the national trade policy. We'll also be discussing the surge in violent crime and the Prime Minister's call for a National Day of Prayer. But before all that, we'll take our second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather at sunrise, that old frontal boundary just to the north of Grand Bahama, shifting north and south, so you could have some cloudiness with a couple of showers over the extreme northwest Bahama, in particular Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, as far south as the Berry Islands. The remaining islands, high pressure building across that island, so you're looking at partly sunny, breezy and warm over the next couple of days. In your marine forecast today, we're looking at southeast to south winds at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet on northwest Bahamas, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet on the central and southeastern islands. On Saturday, we went southwesterly at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet on northwest and central Bahamas, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. Then on Sunday, behind that cold front, those winds become northeasterly at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet on northwest and central Bahamas, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide at 8:10 this morning. Your next low tide will be at 2:40 this afternoon. High gain tonight at 8:30. Sunset 5:38 this evening. Rises more at 6:57. UV index 7. Your water temperature 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And your moon phase, no moon. Your extended look. The big frontal boundary should fizzle out sometime by this afternoon, and so for the weekend, looks pretty good. Into Sunday, when we expect that cold front to move in with increasing cloudiness, some showers, even the possibility of an isolated thunderstorm on Sunday should move out of the area and should clear, and we should have a pretty good Monday with a high pressure building behind that system. So for the weekend, those temperatures held at front will be in the low 80s at daytime, lower 70 at nighttime. After that front passes, we're still looking around 80-degree mark at daytime and the upper 60s at nighttime. That puts wrap on your phone. Look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Gabrielle.
Thanks, Godfrey. During the Royal Bahamas Police Force's 2024 church service, Prime Minister Davis, saddened by the surge in crime, proposed a National Day of Prayer to the Christian Council for healing and comfort. With us now to discuss this is Bishop Delton Fernander, President of the Bahamas Christian Council and lead pastor of New Destiny Baptist Church. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. It's a privilege to be back.
Unfortunately, we're discussing under, I guess, unfortunate circumstances, but how has the recent surge of murders impacted your perspective on the future of our nation?
I think it's now time has challenged us to do more. The population of the Bahamas are now frightened to come out at night service, so it's changed the whole dynamics. The fear of crime is real. And one of the things we are doing more in the church is social initiatives. We're going out more, we're partnering with the entities, there are many entities, the feeding program that was just, and all of the things that we do. But now we have to get more involved in the younger generation of our country.
What does it say that the Prime Minister of our country, taking scope of the situation, his natural reaction was to say, we need to pray?
It's great. We've had 4 national days of prayer. All of them have been because of natural disaster or something happening in our country. For the years I've been president, 6 years, my 3rd term, we've tried to have it established that we don't have to wait for a national calamity for us to have a national day of prayer. It is a humbling point that you humble yourself and realize that these problems are greater than you. I cannot call a national day of prayer. Only the Prime Minister by proclamation can declare a day a national day of prayer. We've been working on this, hence his ending of it, that we've been talking about it. We thought it was time for us to have it, and we're looking forward to Monday at 7 p.m. in Rawson Square, the place of our authority and power, to have a national day of prayer proclaimed by the Prime Minister of the Bahamas.
What has been the response from the public, to, I guess, the planning for this initiative?
Well, it's always varies. 70% Christian, 70+% Christian. So there are those who believe in prayer, who believe in the power of prayer, and ascribe to the things of Christ. And then there's the 30, 20-something plus that have no desire for the things of Christ. And sometimes in the social media sphere, it is the 1% that controls the conversation where we are. I'm asking, as we did on the 4th, that the nation come forward and let's pray for our nation. I'm asking on Sunday that every church in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas carve out some time to pray. I'm asking on the islands, at that period when we're in Rawson Square, find a space and a place. Most churches or some churches have prayer meeting on Mondays. Let's continue this conversation with God, asking Him to heal our land.
We know that you are a minister of the gospel, but you're also a citizen of the Bahamas with genuine concerns. What do you think needs to be done on a legal or from a judicial point of view to help combat these murders?
Well, we had the conversation around bail and we heard the response yesterday. We have to fix it. Whatever it takes to really, these offenders are prolific and they're killing each other. And the streets are happening in broad daylight. And so whether it's the judicial system, whether it's the enforcement system, we have to give space to the police. I think the crime fight has to be more aggressive now. Stop, search, frisk has to take place. It might inconvenience us, but it has to be seen as a war we're fighting, and all of us must mind our place and do our part.
Yeah, you made some remarks to the extent, or saying that folks should really take it as a personal responsibility to support the police in practical ways. What are some of those practical ways?
Crime watch. If you see something, say something. If you're aware of your environment, you're aware of what's going on, something strange in your community, wherever you're at, you have to be an army, a part of that army of one. That wherever you're at, you do your part. You're looking out for the children that are returning. You see strangers in your community. You see cars that are moving through over and over again. Don't hesitate to give that information. And those who are available, we have to patrol our own neighborhoods at night.
I think we've seen an evolution of sorts. As you mentioned, folks are afraid in a way that they may not have been before. When you looked at crime, particularly when you looked at murder, it was very person to person, usually under the dark of night, very specific. Not that that made it better, but that was different for the public. Now we're observing, quite a number of murders happening in broad daylight, happening without concern for the people who are in the surrounding area. What do you think is responsible for that, I guess, negative evolution?
I think we've reached a point where the demographic of those perpetrators are becoming younger. And we had the opportunity over the weekend to speak to the gang leaders. Some of the gang leaders are older. Some of the ones doing the perpetration are younger. They have no kind of restraint. They have no kind of understanding that it's inappropriate behavior or it should not be happening. And with that being said, they too cannot control the younger teenagers who are doing things that are way out of bounds. And so, interesting enough, they too need help, because the organizations they've created have now morphed into a younger army of young people who have no kind of understanding. The only way you can get to them is when it's their mother, their sister, their brother, and they understand that they don't want this kind of stuff in their life. They chose that life of crime, but they don't want their children, their family, their parents to be involved, which is interesting in the conversation, that sometimes we forget that the same thing you're doing to somebody's mother, the same thing you're doing to somebody's sister, is what you don't want to happen in your life.
It is. It is a strange sort of dichotomy that people live in. But, and that's it. That speaks to, again, you may relate to the world a certain way, but you love your family and you want them to be well, For those who want to support, for those who want to be present, what do those plans look like?
In Rawson Square, there are the bleachers that we use for junketing. The state will open the House of Assembly on Wednesday, hence why this had to happen on Monday. They're going to allow those bleachers to remain. People can come downtown, the regular parking as you would have for Junkanoo, and you can walk at 7 p.m. sharp. We will begin the time of prayer, the time of interceding for our nation. But even if you can't make it downtown, like I said, your place in space, whether you're in church, you're in your prayer meeting, wherever you're at, from 7 to 8:30, let's join in prayer.
You know, the Prime Minister spoke about a very active commitment to fighting crime, particularly in the Bahamas. What role does the Christian community have to play in that?
We're rolling out, surprisingly enough, I think a lot of people don't understand that most of the things that happen under the name of different organizations are Christian organizations. Some of the feeding programs are Christian organizations. Some of the relief programs are Christian organizations. All the international ones during the hurricane are Christian organizations. We engage at that level, but we're rolling out from the church perspective, from the council perspective, something called Operation Restoration. We're going to really put more emphasis in our parks, in our communities, do the things we do best. Roll out some of our evangelism tools in the inner city, more visible, more in the open, more young leaders playing that kind of music that young people can ascribe to. But we're going to come out the four walls. We're going to walk. We're involved with the urban centers. We're involved with the community policing. We're involved with social services. And we're going to amalgamate them, because sometimes they can pull on us, but it's now time for us to pull on ourselves and meet with the pastors in different areas. And let's come up with unique things that work in the community you pastor. Don't duplicate from another community. What's working in our community where we're at, let's come on an alliance and work together and make a difference.
And I guess just make a quick appeal to the person who's at home who's like, oh, I want things to change. I'll pray at my house. I don't need to come out. What would you say to them?
It's time for us to show the force. Anytime things change in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, it took good people standing up. Mothers Against Drugs, when we started to align and walk the streets, we're going to walk. But I want it to begin with Rawson Square. If you believe, like I believe, good people need to stand up and make a statement. That thousands of us come down to Rawson Square and change the course of our country.
And all I can say to that is amen.
Amen. Bless you.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning
Glad
and
to
the
be
work
here.
that you're doing.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Here are three young people who stopped attending high school and got disengaged in their educational journey due to the pandemic. Today, they are proudly taking their walk all over the place because they took advantage of BTVI's Smart Start initiative. All high school students in New Providence and the Family Islands can participate in free hands-on learning to improve employability, learn basic literacy and numeracy skills, and earn a BTVI certificate in automotive mechanics, beauty and construction trades, or fashion in only 14 weeks for full-time participants or 24 weeks for part-time. Don't count yourself out. Do what they did and enroll today. Email smartstart@btvi.edu.bs or call 502-6300 so you can take your walk anywhere in life.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Hey Mom, can you look after Kaylee?
Sorry, I'll be out for a while dealing with my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been?
Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage your claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's N-U-A. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers.
One thing, two things, blue thing, all things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Join us for the Bahamas Business Outlook Conference, Thursday, January 25th, 8:45 a.m. at the Bahamas Convention Center. We're bringing the business community together under the theme, Future Bahamas, branding the national identity and planning for success. The day includes a business expo, lunch, an art tour, keynote address by Prime Minister Davis, exciting panels, and so much more. Begin your year on a high note. Get your tickets today at tclevents.com.
Welcome back. With the launch of the National Trade Policy, the Bahamas now has a comprehensive framework for trade from the government that the government intends to use to lower the trade deficit by empowering more local businesses to tap into export markets. And joining us now to tell us more about this are Senator Barry N. Griffin, Vice President of the Senate and Deputy Chairman of the Bahamas Trade Commission, and Ian W.A. Cargill, Counsel and attorney at the Law and Commissioner, the Bahamas Trade Commission. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Good morning, Gabrielle. Thank you for having us.
So I guess the most obvious question is, what is the National Trade Policy?
Thank you for that question. The National Trade Policy is a coherent set of short and long-term policy actions, and it is based or centered or aligned with the National Development Plan of the country for 2040. And we really hope today to encourage the general public, the Bahamians to pick up and read it. It is easily accessible on the Ministry of Economic Affairs website. And so this morning we hope to encourage you all to pick it up yourselves and to read through it.
Yeah. I guess folks will, with a document like this, or just with language like this, National Trade Policy, that feels very far removed from someone's everyday life. What are some of the practical implications for business owners, for people just in the industry, that would make them really want to know what this is all about?
So we live in a time where there's a huge sort of crunch on everything. Bahamians every day are feeling the squeeze of inflation. Goods are more expensive at the store. Petrol is more expensive at the pumps. And I think no matter what social bracket you're in or economic bracket, you're feeling it. And so the National Trade Policy is one of the policy mechanisms that the government is sort of using to assist in these endeavors and sort of alleviate the pain that Bahamians feel. So the Bahamas is party to many trade agreements around the world, which means that we can take advantage of these agreements by getting Bahamian products on the shelves across the world, whether it's in the UK, Canada, the US, Africa, other parts of the Caribbean. The other thing is diversifying our trade imports. So a lot of businesses have very long cemented relationships over the decades. The world is a completely different place than it was 10 years ago, let alone think 20 years ago. So the idea is that we want to encourage businesses, whether large or small, as well as entrepreneurs, to look at the National Trade Policy, see where their business might benefit from importing different types of products, whether it's higher quality products or cheaper products from around the world, places that we may have trade agreements with. And the idea is also to get Bahamians thinking about export markets. We have about 400,000 people in the Bahamas, very limited market. When you add the tourists that come, we have millions of people, but then there's also the global economy. And so we don't want Bahamians to just think of our local market as the be-all and end-all. We want Bahamians to start thinking a little bit more globally. We have lots of talented individuals. We want them to take their talents and skills across the world. We have lots of innovative products and services that are being offered here, and we want to get that on the world stage, because the reality is the more foreign direct investment we get into the country, the more foreign currency we get into the country, the better it will be for all Bahamians. And so the National Trade Policy is just but one of the policy mechanisms that the government is using to expand the Bahamian economy.
Are there Bahamians who are exporting to foreign markets at present?
There are, and actually the statistics on it, up until 1990, 100% of our gross domestic product, which includes consumption, investment, government spending, and net exports, came from trade. Today, that number is a little lower. It's just beneath 80%, but that is still drastic. This is a mechanism that the government has formed to put power back into the Bahamian people's hands. And one of the ways that it can't do that is, for example, we have limited exports. One of the recommendations is a competition law policy, and that would assist with allowing some of the smaller Bahamian companies to compete with larger foreign companies. And so I think it is something that the public should really take a read at.
That is some very important work. So talk about the role of the Trade Commission with respect to international trade, I guess from a bird's eye view.
Mm-hmm. So the Trade Commission is a government statutory board, and essentially it overviews and oversees the trade policy of the government. So it's responsible for taking the government, in this case, the blueprint for change, taking that sort of vision and seeing how it affects trade across the sphere of government, and to make sure that the government enacts legislation and policies geared toward making that trade sort of vision a reality. The Trade Commission also takes on the position of trade promotion. And so we're currently engaged in a number of trade missions, whether trade missions of other countries and companies coming to the Bahamas, looking to trade with the Bahamas, but also trade missions of the Bahamas, the private sector, as well as the government, going out into the world to seek new markets for Bahamian products. So last year, for example, we would have done trade mission to Africa, West Africa in particular, looking at Grand Bahama as becoming a transshipment point for African goods coming to the Caribbean and Latin America, as well as the United States. Fun fact that I recently sort of found out, about 80% of the meat we consume in the Bahamas comes from Brazil, for example, but it comes through the United States, which makes it about 20% more expensive.
Wow.
And so this year we're looking at having a trade mission to Brazil where we can sort of alleviate the middleman and have our private sector buy meats, poultry, and other things directly from Brazil, with the effect that Bahamians would experience a 20% decrease in the cost of these things at the stores. And so that's the kind of practical things that we're trying to do, trade to sort of help the pocket of the average Bahamian, or every Bahamian for that matter. And that's the kind of sort of position and stake the Bahamas Trade Commission holds in all of this.
Wow. You know, when we talk about, again, export and things that Bahamians export, I can't help but think about the orange economy. I can't help but think about talent, creative talent when it comes to art, but even creative talent when it comes to products. I know there are quite a few Bahamians who make their own beauty products, who make different, you know, like I said, small products that people might enjoy. How does this trade policy affect the creative sector?
So in the trade policy, another piece of legislation that is spoken about is intellectual property law. And so that is a mechanism to protect those in the orange economy. That, in addition to competition law, really puts power into the hands of the Bahamian people. And piggybacking back on what Senator said, a part of the policy for those viewers in Grand Bahama also deals with the revitalization of the free trade zone. And so we really encourage those in Nassau, Grand Bahama, and all of the islands to take a look at the trade policy.
And finally, how do trade agreements help persons involved in international trade, beyond all of the things that you've already said, just on a day-to-day?
So trade agreements are essentially, just to break it down, contracts, international contracts between governments, between regions. And so trade is a heavily regulated sort of sphere in the world. And so literally you selling your product on Amazon or eBay or anything across the internet, or someone ordering something and you shipping it to another place, that's trade, and that's governed by trade law. And so one of the things we want to sort of do is educate Bahamians so as not to make trade such a far off, kind of distant, kind of complicated thing. So with the national trade policy, we wanted to break it down in a way that Bahamians understand, so that the small business making soaps, making lotions, making beauty products, that they understand that you don't just have to sell it here in the stores here. By the trade agreements that we've signed, you have a right to sell that abroad. For example, the UK recently left the European Union, and so we would have had to re-sign a trade agreement with the UK. It's called the Economic Partnership Agreement with the UK. Essentially, lots of it is copy and paste from the same agreement we have with the European Union. But just by that agreement, Bahamians have access to all of the UK market. Right now, we're working with a lot of rum producers and alcohol exporters to get more Bahamian rums, alcohols, etc. on the shelves in the UK. But the same can be replicated for any good. And so the government doesn't have the be-all and end-all vision of everything. We do not know all of the desires of the local Bahamian businesses. And so what we want to do is we want everybody to have a read of the trade policy so that they can see where they can possibly take advantage of trade agreements, trade laws, and come to us and say, hey, this is what we want to get in the UK, we want to get in Brazil, we want to get in Canada. How can you assist us? Where are the laws? Who can you put us in contact with so we can do that? And so that's the role the Trade Commission is taking on.
So I think you gentlemen have done an excellent job of explaining why we should read and get familiar with the trade agreement.
Yes.
So now, or trade policy rather. So where can we find it?
So you can find it on the Ministry of Economic Affairs website. I believe it is all lowercase moea.gov.bs/the-Bahamas-national-trade-policy.
So we're just going to put that in our Google.
Yes.
Bahamas National Trade Policy.
Just Google Bahamas National
Ministry
Trade
of
Policy.
Economic Affairs. But kudos to you for remembering that whole thing.
But also physical copies, limited physical copies are also available at the ministry. We know some people like to have it in hard copy. And so the entire trade policy is online, but the bits and pieces that are most important are available in physical copy at the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Dockendale House on West Bay Street.
I love that. And are people allowed to make copies of that?
Yes. So, trade policy is a PDF document. You can print it off yourself, or again, like I'm saying, highlights are in brochures and packets at the ministry.
That is wonderful. I just want to say thank you all for enlightening us and, bringing us up to speed on what we should be aware of.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
African Things is your one-stop shop for everything African. Make a bold fashion statement with vibrant colors and intricate patterns inspired by the beauty of Africa. Find trendy contemporary looks for every occasion and enjoy custom tailoring. Shop jewelry, purses, art, cosmetics, and much more. African Things is located in the Dugard Plaza, Palmdale, next to McDonald's. Open Tuesday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come get your African Things.
Join us for the Bahamas Business Outlook Conference, Thursday, January 25th, 8:45 a.m. at the Bahamas Convention Center. We're bringing the business community together under the theme, Future Bahamas, branding the national identity and planning for success. The day includes a business expo, lunch, an art tour, keynote address by Prime Minister Davis, exciting panels, and so much more. Begin your year on a high note. Get your tickets today at tclevents.com.
Well, it's been an exciting day today on Bahamas at Sunrise. We've talked about some really exciting things. I feel like my brain is full after today's show. We got some inspiration in talking about the work that's being done for the Bahamas Feeding Network. We talked about the Pro Golf Championship that's happening, or contest that's happening this weekend. We talked about what we're going to do in terms of practical solutions as well as spiritual solutions against crime. And of course, we're talking about economic empowerment by way of getting familiar with the Bahamas trade policy. So you never really think about these things, but it's so important to be abreast with what the laws are and what those implications are For you as a person, I want to encourage you to make it a great weekend. I have to shout out my sister-in-law, Keandra Gardner. She is participating in, I believe, Marathon Bahamas this weekend. She will be hoping to set a record. This is the very first marathon. I think she's half marathon. But either way, we will be there. We will be rooting for you. We will be cheering for you, expecting good things. Let that inspire all of us to go out and exercise this weekend. I feel like that was the subtext of today's show, and make it a great, enjoyable time with your family. And we'll see you back on Monday. See you soon.